Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Game Night 2018, the brand new film, New Line Cinema film that was just put out. It is just packed with really cool, unique stars. It is a 5 out of 5 star movie. So I just want to talk about what people are in this movie. So Lamorne Morris is in this movie. He's a very funny actor. He came from New Girl. I really enjoy the show New Girl. And he played Winston Bishop on New Girl. Winnie the Bish. He's a really great character. Actually on New Girl, and he's really good in this movie as well. And this movie, Game Night, is just packed full of really, really interesting stars. It's a great film. All right. We keep talking about who's in it. So Kylie Bunbury is in this movie. Relatively, I haven't seen too much of her stuff. She was excellent in this. Across the board, this is well acted, very well acted. Kylie Bunbury did a really good job in this. Rachel McAdams was in this, and she came from a lot of rom-coms, right? And when I looked her up, I couldn't believe how much she's worked, right? She's been in a lot of movies I didn't see, but she's a very successful actress. And then also Jason Bateman, who is really becoming one of my favorite modern actors, my favorite current working actors. He just works a ton. He's really strong in everything he does. I really like to watch him in television or movies. I'm hoping he continues to stay over on the movie side because I think he's just a really great talent, right? Jason Bateman, if you haven't seen Ozark on Netflix, check it out. Very, very good series. Of course, starring Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman is a really strong actor, and he does an excellent job in this movie. And he's kind of the anchor for this whole film. Him and Rachel McAdams are the core couple that are together that kind of drive the story forward. It's really, really powerful. Before I get there, so there's 4 couples that all get together for a game night in this movie. And by the way, this video will be actually spoiler free, right? So another couple is played by Billy Magnuson. So Billy Magnuson is from Stranger Things, which is, I really liked him in season 2 of Stranger Things. I was, kind of surprised to see him there. He had a very unusual character, but he's in this film, and he plays a guy who dates models, and he brings models to game night who are like not intelligent, and he's really kind of dismissive in the way he treats them, or he's not super respectful for them. And he is in the movie, he's dating this British, like almost like a professor lady, and it's really funny because it gets flipped, and then he's the one who's not so bright in the relationship. And she's played by Sharon Horgan, who's essentially I think she's a British actor, maybe Irish, maybe a little both in there. Excuse me. But she's really good in this. And Sharon Horgan is in this. It's really, really crazy how many, couples are in this movie and how strong the movie is overall. There are 2 people from Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights, if you haven't seen that is an absolutely classic. I think it's a kingpin among television series. Jesse Plemons is in this movie. He does a fantastic job playing this police officer who's very kind of dark and weird. Jesse Plemons is really good in this. And then also the coach from Friday Night Lights. Also one of the main characters from Bloodlines. I cannot remember this guy's name. He does an excellent job of playing Jason Bateman's character's brother in this. Really, really good. So this movie is really exceptional. It's just a fantastic film from top to bottom. It's written really well. It has really nice fun turns, surprisingly fun turns in the film, like twists and turns. That's what I was meaning to say, twists and turns. And it's just a really well-written story. Everything that happens in it is just a tiny bit over the top, but still within the range of plausibility. almost like a Taken film, but a little less action. Actually, there's a lot of action in this movie. And so it really is just a lot of fun. And the concept is a game night is thrown, and then it's one of these murder mystery. All the players think it's a murder mystery situation, but the reality is there's real danger, and some of the people in their player group are in real danger, right? None of that is a spoiler. That's all in the trailer. And then the movie just kicks off from there. It's incredibly well written. There are lots and lots of laugh out loud moments. So the other thing is, what is this movie good for? Let me explain that. This is a really good date night movie. So if you have a spouse you love, or particularly for married people. So if you have a spouse you love, take them to this movie. The two of you can and the reason why is it's filled with married humor that married people will get, right? And I really feel very blessed, because I feel like a lot of the movies that are being made today are it's like somebody sat down and wrote a movie for me. I love this movie. I took my wife and we went and saw it together. And my wife, she's I would say her funny bone is hard to find. She just doesn't I'm very reactionary when I go to a film. I laugh really loud. I laugh more often than most people. I even cry more often than most people. I'm very emotionally responsive to movies, both through laughter and joy and sadness. I'm very responsive, right? My wife is not, right? But there were multiple points where she just laughed out loud at this film, just really caught her in the funny bone, and which is pretty unusual with my wife. She doesn't really usually laugh out loud in films like this, but this movie was really great because my wife is not a fan of action movies, but this movie has some significant action in it, and there are scenes that are kind of gory and bloody, right? And that's there, for people who like those kind of scenes. But if you're with a person who really doesn't like action movies, there's so much story here and so much humor, and there's so many people to like in this film, right? That's another thing. It's a lot of action movies, Death Wish is coming out this weekend. Who's there to root for in that movie, right? There isn't even a hero. There's an anti-hero, you know what I mean? This movie has people who are likable, people that you really feel for. There's a lot of emotion in this film. It's just a wonderful, wonderful film. And if you're the kind of person out there who's complaining, all they ever make is superhero movies and remakes, go check this out. This is an original film. It breaks the rules of Hollywood right now. It's not another blockbuster style film, and it's fantastic. It's just a great time at the movies. So fun. I do want to talk a little bit about New Line Cinema. I'm clearly a fan, right? I saw it there. This is from the same people who did Horrible Bosses. This movie is cleaner than Horrible Bosses or Horrible Bosses 2. There's just less NSFW content in it, right? And but this is a rated R movie. Let's just be clear. But but New Line Cinema, I am definitely a fan of their films, and I really like this film. I thought it was really, really excellent. But New Line Cinema made an absolutely critical business mistake in counter-programming this against Black Panther, right? So Black Panther is right now riding a well-deserved tsunami of success. And unfortunately, game night is just a little bit of flotsam that's getting pushed aside by that much bigger film. And I think a lot of people aren't going to see this movie because there really just isn't space for it in the movies right now. Now, I have a lot of sympathy for New Line Cinema, and I don't think they made, it wasn't they were stupid for doing this. Genuinely, we're so blessed with movies right now that there are blockbuster films coming out at all times of year, right? So they couldn't have put this up against the new Avengers film. They couldn't have put this up against Solo. There's no room for these smaller movies, right? It's really hard for them, right? And this weekend, by the way, the domestic haul for game night was 16.6 million, which is, now this movie didn't take a lot of money to make, so I think it's going to be okay, right? But I just really wanted to talk for a minute and say I'm really a little bit sad that I think a lot of people are going to miss this movie because it just gets swept aside by Black Panther. And, you know, and there's, you know, I don't really think there's anything to do about it. It's just a sad reality of life, that movies like this are going to get caught in a pinch. But actually, we as American moviegoers we're so fortunate now. There's just good movies all over the calendar. It used to be, you know, oh, your good movies hit in May, and you got until the end of July, and then the rest of the year's filled with boring old films, and that's just not the case anymore. You know, like Black Panther is an absolute juggernaut, and it's in February. Like, you know, or actually, yeah, it's in February, which is just crazy. You know, so it's really interesting. But I definitely want to just really call out again. If you have a spouse and you love your spouse, and maybe you guys don't like the same films, right? This is a really good film where somebody who likes action movies and somebody who doesn't like action movies are really going to be able to have a good time regardless. And this is just a great movie for married people, right? And you know, and for, you know, and it's great for a day night. Like, you don't take kids to this. This isn't a movie, you know. And so that's another thing that's nice, is there aren't a lot of kids in the film. You know, the theater was more quiet. It was just a really nice night out with my wife, and I highly suggest it for you and for your spouse. You know, it's got a lot of married humor in it, and it's just really unique, wonderful film. And I'm just so happy it's here. And I'll tell you, man, you know, it's February and there's good movies for me to go see, and I am just thrilled at how good some of the movies that are coming out, and I'm really starting to get very excited about 2018 as a movie year. I think there's going to be a lot of great movies, and I'm just really getting ready for the big blockbuster season coming up, and all the good movies that are about to come out. And you know, and a game night just gets you perfect in the mood. It cues everything up. It's a really fantastic movie. I highly recommend it. 5 out of 5 star movie. Check it out. Take care.